Hey everybody, welcome to the video. Hope you're doing well, hope you're staying safe. It's Monday, April the 19th, 2021. A lot to get through today. Again, if you want to know what's going on in Orlando, this is the place to be. Headlines, usual stuff, usual COVID stats from the US and from Florida, hospitalization stats, vaccination stats. Dr. Fauci is frustrated by the fact that a lot of people are saying they're not going to take the vaccine, but they want everything to be open. Governor DeSantis from Florida has said, if you've got the vaccine, then act like you've got the vaccine and don't wear a mask anymore. That hasn't gone down too well with the CDC. The Johnson & Johnson vaccine has been suspended in the US this week, but it could be back with us very soon. Legislation has been introduced into the Senate by a couple of Florida senators to try and get cruises back up and running. Let's have a look at the Paul Charles traffic light system. There's something seems to be a bit wrong with that this week. What's happening with Virgin Atlantic? It's saying one thing while Virgin Atlantic is saying something completely different. Orlando International looks like it's in for a very busy summer. I've got some news on that. Disneyland's website has been updated to state that guests who use profanity or otherwise berate cast members or other guests will be escorted from the park. Massive news from Disney this week in inclusivity. I've got a video that shows that, and I've got a couple of words that demonstrate that as well. Hand washing stations that were introduced as part of the park reopening schedule are now being removed from all Disney parks. If you can hear anything in the background, that's Alfie. He's running around like a mad idiot in the garden. Camp Jurassic has been reopened at Islands of Adventure this weekend, and the Velocicoaster team members now have their brand new uniforms with some really nice masks to go with them. Disney World Park Availability calendar update for April, May, June, July and October. Not so great if you're a theme park ticket holder or resort guest, but pretty good if you're an AP holder. And finally, the weather. Okay, if you're enjoying the videos, if this isn't your first one and you've come back again and again, please do think about subscribing and hitting that like button. If you're new to the channel, this is what you get every week, just what's going on in Orlando and what's going on in the theme parks. Have a look at it. If you like what you see, give it a like, give it a subscribe as well. Okay, let's get cracking. New cases in the US on Saturday, 63,625, with Florida in second place. The US 7-day average for new cases was 67,906 last week. Now it's 70,185. That's up 3% since last week. US active cases stand at 6.9 million this week, and that was the same as last week and the same as the week before. Our low for 7-day new cases was 55,477. That's 15,000 less than today on March the 16th, over a month ago. Since then, active cases have dropped by 300,000. While new cases have been increasing significantly across the US, active cases have not. They've remained steady, so I'm hoping that's as a result of the vaccine doing its job. US 7-day average for deaths is 741, down from 764 last week, a fall of 3%. Our next milestone is 724, which was on October the 6th, 2020. Deaths didn't drop as much as they have recently, but they are still going down, even though cases are going up, so that's, in my book, still good news. New cases in Florida on Saturday, 6,323. The 7-day moving average for new cases in Florida is 6,193. It was 5,955 last week, so up 4%. That's pretty much in line with America as a whole. Active cases in Florida stand at 431,000. Last week this number was 455,000, and that means a fall of 5%. Florida doing better than the US then on active cases for another week. The 7-day average for deaths in Florida is now 55, and it was 55 last week, so no change. The next milestone for Florida is 42, and that was from November the 7th, 2020. So if we can get below that, I think we're getting into pretty good shape. Hospitalizations last week in Florida were 3,016, and this week it's 3,253. If there is good news about hospitalizations, then it's that less seniors are being admitted, with 46% less of them entering hospital for COVID since mid-February 2021. The number of vaccine doses distributed across the US is 264.5 million, up from 237.8 million last week. That is an 8-day period, so 3.3 million a day being distributed. Doses administered as of last week were 183.5 million, and now that number is 209.4 million, again in an 8-day period, so 3.2 million per day average. We reached President Biden's 200 million dose target in his first 100 days as president on the day he said he wanted to achieve it by. So that's good. Oh, here's Alfie. The surprising thing to me is that he hasn't said anything since then. He hasn't given another milestone by 300 million by X date, although I think that's probably going to be in another month's time. We should reach 300 million if everybody plays their part. And he hasn't said anything about what might trigger reopening of borders or anything else that might come with it. Again, very surprising that once we get to 300 million, that's the majority, the vast majority of people who have had at least one dose. So we should be in good shape, right? But let's see. As soon as anything happens, of course, I will let you know. Looking at how the vaccine then is performing worldwide, Israel, 62% of its population has been vaccinated at least once. UK 48%, US 38%, and Europe still lagging way behind on 17%. Dr. Anthony Fauci this week said he was frustrated by recent studies showing that up to 45% of Republicans, not Americans, but those who vote Republican, would not take the vaccine. As you know, there is a big political divide between the two major political parties in the US, and the vaccine has turned out to be something which some people have decided is a Democratic Party thing. However, the link highlighted in red here takes us to a Quinnipiac University poll taken on April the 14th that indicates that 27% of Americans say they don't plan on getting the COVID-19 vaccine. That's the lowest percentage I've seen. I'd seen this 45%, but it wasn't Republicans, it was Americans as a whole. So for it to be now only 27%, which is still pretty significant, that says to me that a lot more people now are going to take the vaccine, obviously, than had said they were going to take it in the past. I still think that 27% is high, and I still think 27%, some of that 27% of people are just saying they're not going to take it for bravado or whatever, and a lot more will take it than that. We'll need them to if we're going to get to herd immunity, if such a thing exists. The percentage of people who have had at least one dose of vaccine is 39.5% in America, up from 35.3% last week, and the percentage fully vaccinated is 25.4%, up from 21.3% last week. So 4% of the population have either been vaccinated once or vaccinated for the second time, and that is really good. 4% up in a week of the whole population is fantastic news. Taking a look at the vaccines being used then in those that have been vaccinated completely, Pfizer 41.3 million, that was 34.7 million last week. Moderna 35 million, that was 30 million last week. And Johnson & Johnson 8 million, and that was 5.9 million last week. So the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, which was doing great because it's only a one-shot thing, has now been paused in the US on April the 13th after blood clots were reported in a very small number of people having had the vaccine. Dr. Fauci said yesterday that the Johnson & Johnson vaccine will likely resume with a warning or restriction attached, and anticipates a decision will be made on this issue as early as this Friday. Florida has gone up from 23rd to 19th position last week for the share of people who have had at least one dose of the vaccine at 38.2%. Florida stayed at 25th position for the share of people who have been fully vaccinated at 24.3%. On Friday, Governor Ron DeSantis said that if you'd been vaccinated, you shouldn't need to wear a face mask. Dr. Anthony Fauci commented that it was premature to not wear a face mask. So can you spread the virus after you've had the vaccine? The CDC says you should still wear a mask, and data has shown you can still get the virus after you are fully vaccinated. Experts said that you would need to get between 70% and 85% to get to herd immunity. So are we expected to wear a mask until we get to 75 or 80%? So going back to the how many people are not going to get the vaccine, are we ever going to get to 75%? And what happens if we don't? Are we expected to wear a mask forever? I doubt it. So at some point, some decision is going to have to be made on rolling back COVID-19 restrictions. No word on when cruising is going to resume out of the US, but legislation has been introduced by 2 Florida senators this week, which seeks to override the CDC restrictions. Currently, cruising is banned until November the 1st at the very earliest. The Paul Charles traffic light system this week shows that the US is in the yellow zone due to infections increasing by 50.1% in the past week. If that's what the yellow rating is based on, then it's incorrect, as infections in the US hardly moved at all, as you've seen from the graphs earlier on. Maybe I'm missing something and somebody can enlighten me that I'm reading this traffic light system wrong. The UK government, I believe, was going to adopt it, hasn't yet. And the US government hasn't said what it's going to adopt or what the trigger is going to be to open up the borders. So let's take a look at our favourite Virgin flight VS75 out of Manchester on May the 17th, the first direct flight into Orlando. There's a twist to this sale this week, and I'll get to that in a minute. This week the prices have stayed exactly the same as last week in all cabins. 18 upper class seats were bought last week versus 11 this week. Virgin has changed planes again, and there are now only 19 upper class seats. No idea why it's changed planes again. That's the second time. 8 premium economy seats were sold last week, and that number is now 16. I'm surprised that prices haven't increased for PE given the number of seats sold. 24 economy seats were sold last week, and this is now 47. Again, I'm really surprised that with an almost doubling of people buying seats from when it started to last week, almost a doubling in the last week, that those prices haven't been increased. Maybe Virgin are thinking that it's still going to be a fairly empty plane, so they better keep the prices fairly low. The twist in this tale then this week is that the MCO website included information on when certain international flights would be returning. Among them was Virgin from Manchester, and MCO states that it will be June the 1st, subject to government approval. I tried to clear this up with Virgin yesterday by tweeting them, and their response was that they are flying on May the 17th. So I've tweeted MCO to see if Virgin are correct or they are correct. I'll give you that information when I get it, because I haven't got it yet. Moving on to Orlando International then, and it looks like it's going to be a really busy summer. 12 airlines are looking to either start or resume flying into MCO shortly. International carriers include Aer Lingus, Emirates, Viva, Lufthansa and Virgin. No mention of BA, although you can buy tickets to fly to Orlando direct with them again on May the 17th. Disney news then, and Disneyland's website has been updated to include a specific section on when they will ask a guest to leave. In addition to not wearing a face mask, you can now also be asked to leave for using profanity or offensive language towards cast members or even other guests, so Brits especially, beware. I know. Life-changing news, I would call it life-changing news from Disney this week then, on its policy for inclusion. Massive changes unveiled this week by Josh D'Amaro, who is Disney Parks Experiences and Products Chairman. They've got rid of gender references and also hair length and facial hair rules to an extent, and you'll now see CMs with tattoos never before seen. Disney produced a video to go alongside this announcement. It's about 2.5 minutes long. Remember now that the news videos do have chapters, so if you scale along the bottom of the video, you will see those chapters come up and you can skip through it if you want. I wouldn't, it's a pretty decent video.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
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 For over 65 years, we have welcomed guests from all over the world into our home with the help of a simple code. The 4 keys. Safety, courtesy, show, and efficiency have guided us from the very start. These 4 keys have provided a foundation for our culture, contributing to Disney's legacy of customer service and care. But as Walt Disney himself once said, we keep moving forward. And in December 2019, a team of cast members joined together in a series of ideation sessions that span time zones and teams. Tasked with bringing a greater focus on inclusivity and belonging for all cast members, they pitched an idea so revolutionary, it was magic from the start. The addition of a 5th key, the key of inclusion. A key that unlocks even more potential within our company by amplifying the others. Because to create a world where everyone belongs, where each person is treated with respect, we must work together to reimagine tomorrow. We are building a Disney with more diverse stories and experiences. A Disney with more accessible products and authentic voices. A Disney where our cultures unite us, not divide us, and where each cast member is empowered to speak up, team up, take action, and ensure equality in every way. The key to unlocking this is working together, because together we can create cultural transformation and allyship to improve the lives of all our cast members and communities for years to come. The key of inclusion, a vision for tomorrow where
All
每一位
Tous,
Minonionson,
todos,
who come to this happy place are welcome.
Last week, Disney made a change to its mask policy, allowing guests to take off their masks for photos. This week, another change brought in when the parks reopened is changing again. Hand washing stations appeared in all of Disney World's parks, in addition to sanitizer points. Those hand washing stations are now being removed to leave the sanitization points. So another step in the right direction. And I just wonder how far they're going to go this summer. I hope they're going to go all the way in fall with the restrictions being completely relaxed. But let's see, one step, one foot in front of another is good for me. In Universal, Camp Jurassic at Islands of Adventure reopened. I believe this is the first kids area that's opened in any park in Orlando. So again, another huge step forward, allowing kids to play together. They are keeping social distancing and they are keeping the number of kids in that play area at any one time down at the moment. But again, huge step forward. As the Jurassic Park Velocicoaster gears up for its opening on June the 10th, team members have been seen with their brand new uniforms and bespoke Velocicoaster face masks. No news yet on when or whether there will be AP holder previews. I really hope there will be, and I'll be straight on it. Looking at the Disney Parks availability calendar for April, if you are a theme park ticket holder or resort guest, it's just Epcot remaining for the remainder of this month. AP holders have all parks except for Magic Kingdom available. Into May, and Hollywood Studios dates are sold out for the whole month for resort guests and theme park ticket holders. Magic Kingdom is the same except for the 29th through the 31st. For annual pass holders, it's looking pretty good. For June, it's already looking quite busy for theme park tickets and resort guests. Hollywood Studios is unavailable for the whole month, and there's variable availability for other parks. Annual pass holders have zero issues. July obviously sees a major public holiday in Independence Day, but only the 1st and 4th are showing any capacity issues for theme park ticket holders and resort guests. AP holders again looking good. I'm still the one-man conspiracy theory that says that Disney is going to increase its capacity in July. I don't know by how much, but for there to be almost zero capacity issues on Independence Day weekend is baffling to me. So watch this space. Again, any news, I'll bring it to you as soon as I get it. Finally then, thunderstorms in the early part of this week, and then it's looking pretty good right up to the first couple of days of May. Pretty comfortable temperatures as well, 70s and 80s. Okay, that is the news for this week. Hope you got something decent out of that. If you did, give me a comment, see how you think. What do you want included? And I'll try and include that without making the video too long. If you like the video, do give it a thumbs up. It does help the algorithm push this out to more people. We just reached 2,500 subscribers this week, so thank you to everybody who subscribed from subscriber 1 through to subscriber 2,500. We're up to about 2,505 as of release of this video. Let's keep it pushing out. If you're liking the videos, do subscribe. That would be awesome. Okay, I'll see you next week. Have a great week. Cheers for now. Bye-bye.